The Mandalorian is one of Star Wars' most successful creations. Back in 2019, the show took us all by surprise. It was something never seen before in the universe far, far away. A live-action series about a bounty hunter and a cute 50-year-old kid that looked like Yoda. The duo of Din Djarin and Grogu has today cemented its place in the Star Wars history books. They will always be recognized for leading this franchise into a new era on Disney+. Yet, even if the season 3 finale had the highest viewership ever, it's impossible to ignore that the series has changed, and not for the better.
There must be some mistake. I can get you more credits.
I can bring you in warm. Or I can bring you in cold.
What made Season 1 stand out was in part because of its small scale. Star Wars live action had always been about the big screen blockbuster films. However, this time, with the help of new technology like the volume, the story was more grounded. I'm not saying that it was revolutionary, rather that the creators were aware of the series' capabilities. It didn't try to follow in the footsteps of previous content, instead embrace a straightforward plot with a lot of classic elements to it, like the selfish loner taking care of a child, or the hero saving an innocent village from bandits. In reflection, you could view Season 1 as an entire big pilot episode, with Favreau and Filoni slowly feeling their way into serialized Star Wars. As I mentioned, there was a beauty in its simplicity, focusing solely on a few characters making their way through the galaxy towards a purpose neither of them, including the audience, fully understood.
Why don't you hang on to that?
Season 2, while moving the story forward, instantly felt a bit different. The series had expanded from the small-scale production in Season 1, partly by upgrading the volume and getting more backing from the Disney board. This bigger scene included the use of previous recognized characters. Suddenly they were all over the place, with Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Cobb Vanth, R2 and even Luke Skywalker joining the show. While the series still focused most of its attention on the duo of Mando and Grogu, it was obvious that they were setting up more content down the line, hinting at Thrawn's return and even introducing Book of Boba Fett after the finale. There is no doubt that Season 2 had its flaws, yet I think it served as a great conclusion, with Grogu finding a home and Din Djarin evolving beyond a faceless bounty hunter. The finale will always be regarded as a classic, featuring Luke Skywalker's return and the hilariously bad CGI. But despite my enjoyment, the charm of Season 1 were slowly fading away, as the hint towards an overarching story, very much like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, became too obvious to ignore. Since the end of Season 2, this whole project the fans named the Mandoverse has struggled. It all begun with the Book of Boba Fett, that got presented as the story of how this iconic character returned from the dead. Yet that's not really what it was about. Sure, the first 4 episodes were slow, but told the story of Boba Fett trying to become the leader of Mos Espa. But halfway through the series, Din Djarin returned and stole an entire episode. Then Cobb Vanth, Ahsoka, Grogu, R2 and Luke Skywalker all appeared in the next chapter. Even Cad Bane made a surprise entrance out of nowhere. And amid all of this mess, Grogu and Din were suddenly back together. So in the span of 3 episodes, they hadn't only ruined Book of Boba Fett by not focusing on the main character nor story, but they had simultaneously erased almost everything Season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian had built.
I can bring you in warm. Or I can bring you in cold.
In defense, the episode called Return of the Mandalorian is fantastic, and if that would have been the season 3 premiere, I would have been beyond excited for the rest of it. Witnessing Mando regress towards his old habits, living with the decision of turning his beloved child over to Luke was such a great story element. However, it only reached a small bit of its potential because of their instant return to one another.
Oh, okay, little guy. I'm happy to see you too.
This decision makes no sense to me, except perhaps that it was made by the higher-ups at Disney who wanted this duo back together. And if that was the case, it's just stupid. It makes their emotional goodbye much less touching and meaningful, while significantly diminishing Din's sacrifices and character arc. The most funny part is that the return didn't even happen in their own show. This was done in a chaotic finale that should have been all about Boba Fett. I mean, the more I think about this, the more dumb it gets. So much potential thrown away, so many good tales with Luke and Grogu or Mando slowly building himself a new life. This is truly the symbolic story choice that derailed an entire series, and as we will see, season 3 suffered badly because of it. As much as I adore Grogu and Din together, it became evident that they in season 3 hindered each other's character development. From a technical standpoint, filming Grogu was difficult, so he often had to be doing something else or was just ignored. Din couldn't really evolve either because he never got challenged. He was just present, didn't even question the creed anymore. What he had experienced earlier throughout the show didn't mean anything. It was literally like it never had happened. What instead developed was a story that didn't know what to do with itself. A story that had zero depth while not understanding its own characters nor the lore that was used. It felt like the show wanted to expand on so much but showcased so little of it, introducing so many characters and worlds while the episodes reflected something entirely different, with some of them, in my opinion, being totally useless.
Everyone, special guests! Mandalorians!
I recall that Favreau and Filoni, back after season 1 had finished airing on Disney+, commented on that the series would evolve. They mentioned shows like Game of Thrones and that it would be similar to those type of connected stories, and today I fully understand what they meant by that. The question is if it actually worked, and that doesn't seem to be the case. It's sad because there were so many interesting aspects to it, like Bo-Katan redeeming herself and living with her horrible past, the Darksaber dilemma and who would lead Mandalore, along with Din Djarin wrestling with his identity, to name a few. Yet the Mandoverse very much suffered the same problems as the MCU, in that it either wasted perfectly good stories or moved past them too quickly without exploring them enough. Nevertheless, why I made this video was because I missed the old Mandalorian, the simple show that captured our hearts, that explored great characters like Quill, someone many of you probably had forgotten by this point.
I have spoken.
Or Mix Mayfield that I made a video about. Click on it to learn more, and let me know what you think about The Mandalorian today in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will have a great day.